Welcome to our next training video for release 1.8. Now the next screen I'd like to introduce is an entirely new one specific to release 1.8, and that's called now My Auto Bet Exotics Rules. So we'll click on that and we'll see the new screen, and this is where we set up all our exotic bet type rules. It's quite comprehensive and provides for a lot of flexibility. Now the way we've engineered the exotics to work is with your base system selections, and you can actually define, obviously you're aware of systems A to E for your base win and place betting. Now any one or more of those systems from 1 to 5, A to E, can be associated with exotics group A. Okay, and similarly we've got 4 exotics groups, B, C and D, and there's a certain minimum number of groups that you need for different bet types. For example, for any 2, Quinella and Exacta, you need to define selections to exotic group A and to exotic group B. When you move to trifecta, you need to have A, B and C with some associated systems in each of those groupings to enable the system to transact. And similarly, if you want to look at first 4 betting, you need to have some base systems associated with group D as well. Now that can be 1 or more depending on how you've defined your base systems. Now your base systems may just have 1 selection in that system, and obviously if you just put say you had system A and you ticked just these boxes and they only had 1 selection in each, then it couldn't transact on any exotic because it needs more than 1 selection for the bet type. However, as we did earlier, we defined MIR 1 to 4, which means there's 4 selections associated with the base system A. That means you could come in here and potentially tick each of these, and as you notice, once they get ticked they highlight in green so that you know for that exotics group you have some base association with it. But by doing that, it will allow you to bet on any of these exotic bet types because you're satisfying the minimum number of selections that are required. As you define more base systems, more intricate ones, you can also associate those with any particular exotic base group. Okay. There is an ability as you build more and more systems to get quite a bit of overlap, and we've got another facility here where you by ticking that particular Unicify exotic group selections, it actually makes them each particular grouping unique. In other words, they're mutually exclusive and you won't get any overlap. We'll cover those via a specific example later and it'll make a lot more sense then. But right now we're just going to stick with the base MIR 1 to 4 in each of the exotic groups, and I'll take you through that in terms of the setup here. The other thing that we've got with release 1.8 is the default outlays, and we've got a default outlay by bet type, and the way the system works, it allows you to define a flexi percentage, and 100 will be the default, but you can go in here and you can pick more or less. So the minimum that will be accepted as a percentage will be 1% when you try and transact. But if you leave it at 100, you can you're getting the full $1 unit cost of that particular exotic bet type. Now, what you can also do though is you can go and set a bet maximum so that you can say I don't want to spend more than $10. Okay, so by doing that, even though that's 100%, when it calculates it, and it's going to, if it ends up costing more than $10, it'll only apply $10 as your maximum for that any 2 bet. And you can do the same for all your different bet types, and you can vary it and say, oh, you want Exacta to be, I don't know, 15, but you want your trifectas to be 30, you can do that, and you can do that, and it's the same sort of thing with exotics, you might say. So a 30, and basically that becomes your maximum spend. It's not going to spend more than that for you. Now we've also built an ability to auto adjust the outlay to the minimum. So what does that mean? What it means is that if with your particular combination or your trifecta combinations as they get determined by the system, if they require a minimum bet spend, which they will do, and that's going to vary, and your particular max spend is less than the minimum, then if you leave it unchecked, it won't transact on that transaction. It will fail the max spend rule and it won't bet for you. However, if you tick that, it's always going to accept the bet at the minimum. Okay, so that's what that is there for. A little bit involved, but we'll go and take you through all this in a lot more detail later. Now, this is where you actually define all the different permutations, and obviously for NE2 and Quinella, they're you either have them on or off. But for Exacta, you can pick Group A to come first and Group B to come second. These are your exotic groups. Okay, the reference to the exotic group is what these particular letters stand for. So if you picked this one, you want exotic group B to come first and then exotic group A to come second. And it shows you your default flexi percent and max spend figures from this table here. Now, you can go and override the spend at a permutation level. So you can actually go in here and say, all right, my default's 100, but for this particular, and only for this one, I want it to be 75%. All right, and I'll put a little yellow thing and yellow shaded entry against that change. And you may even change the spend. Okay, so that will only be applied that particular for that particular combination that you've entered. Similarly here, because we put Group A against each of these, all we need to do is pick A, B, C as the permutation, because we're going to, by that we're saying we want Group A for first, exotic Group B for second, exotic Group C for third, excuse me, and that will take MIR 1 to 4 in each of your positions automatically. All right. Similarly, if you wanted to extend it and also take the first 4 permutation for boxed, you just click that one. All these others are there for more intricate type of standout type of bet designs where your particular groupings here may be completely mutually exclusive, so that there's no overlap, and allows you to take them in all the different permutations that are possible. That'll make a lot more sense when we cover the separate examples. You notice that there's these on-off type of buttons. That's quite there intentional, so that you can just have a snapshot view of what you're utilising. Because a lot of these check boxes are small, sometimes they're not as evident that you've got something switched on or off. So, you know, as you switch more of these, it always stays on. But if you actually undo these, it goes to off. So that's the concept there. We'll come back shortly to continue this with some more training. So speak soon.